Hey y'all. Internet Develops is a brand that I created because I am passionate about developing the mind, the body, and the souls of everyone I come in contact with. I believe that you can be successful in your personal life and in your business. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Internet Develops, to receive a weekly word that will support you in being better informed so that you can create better habits so that you are able to reach your goals. And remember, you can be anything you think about and work towards. What? You're not going to live your dream and this vision that God placed inside. I am on with Danya. First and foremost, I love Danya. I met Danya like a couple years ago at one of our WIN meetings. And ever since then, I have admired her up close and afar. So I thought that Danya would be a great person to have on the channel to talk to you about entrepreneurship and just her journey in general. So, Danya.
Hi.
So when we get, I guess to get started, can you just tell us about who is Danya?
Well, I'm a lot of things. I'm a woman who wears many different hats, but the first hat that I'm very proud to wear is that of an educator. I teach within a local school district here in Wilmington, Delaware. I also am a person who is a servant. Anything that I do, I try to make sure that I serve the people, whether it be in the community, whether it be in schools, whether it be through my business, whatever it may be. I'm just looking to see how can I serve, how can I add to this organization, how can I help this person. I currently am a doctoral student at Wilmington University. This is my last time going to school. So I'm excited about that. And I actually just started my journey within the city of Atlanta. I'm from Delaware, but I moved to Atlanta to go to school at Clark Atlanta University. Woo-hoo, Panthers. And then I moved back up to Delaware to teach within the community that gave back so much to me. So I've always wanted to do that. And I started teaching within private schools, then it was charter schools, then public schools, and just taking on different leadership roles within the actual building, and then just trying to see how I can help within the community. I'm now a part of the Loiss Writing Consortium, where I am a voting member, where I support different legislation that's going to be coming out to support the children that are within the city and how that impacts the schools and what's going to be happening there. And yeah, I ride my bike. I have a lot of fun. People, they try to make fun of me because I have a basket on my bike, but I don't care.
I love your basket. I love your basket.
Yes. I can put so much stuff in there. And I sometimes, well, now we're not able to ride it now because of the COVID-19 crisis. But I used to ride it to work.
Okay.
And yeah, so when I say I'm not able to ride it, I'm not able to ride it to work. But I do go on the trail that's not too far from here and just relax. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Oh, well, that is amazing. You have so much going on. And like I always like to say, like when I see you on social media, you're just such an inspiration. That's all I can say. You really are. You are. No, you are.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell us about your business.
So I own and operate So You Need a Tutor. It's a tutoring company within Newcastle County of Delaware, and we service children from the grades of kindergarten all the way to 6th grade. We are expanding in some ways to be able to support children all the way up to 12th grade, of course, of what's going on now. We were teaching in libraries, but now we're teaching virtually. We've been able to switch pretty quickly, which is a blessing. We're still open and able to support all of what's going on in education. We have been in operation since 2017 officially, because before that it was just me, one tutor with one student who had one problem. And I took on that challenge of being able to support that student, and it allowed me to pull out some unique skills and strategies that I had, because the student had came from Germany. So I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? But their grandparent, like many of our parents, they trust us to be able to support their children. So I'm extremely grateful for that. And it grew from there. I just started looking at teachers who I knew, coworkers that I knew who were like myself or even greater. Like, there are some things that I'm good at, some things that they're phenomenal at. I'm like, hey, how can we work together for the betterment of our students while still having fun at the same time? So we just continue to grow. So you need a tutor. Right now we have 10 tutors. We have 2 operations coordinators. We have myself, the owner. People can visit us on our website at www.soyouneedatutor.com. And we're just excited to be able to support the work that's actually going on in education, and more specifically in Delaware. So that's us.
I love it. I love it. So what made you to decide to really get into the tutoring business?
Well, because I'm an educator. And like I said before, the young lady that was from Germany, her grandfather didn't know what to do, to how to support her, because she had been in Germany so long. Her mom was traveling all around, and she came back to the U.S. And the grandfather was like, hey, can you work with my daughter? And at this time I was working in a private school, and that's where it just began. And before So You Need a Tutor, I had another business. I had a bunch of different businesses, different hustles, as we would call them. This was the first one that I actually like incorporated and like made it legit. But when you're younger, I used to sell candy for the church.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do a lot of different things. And thankfully, my grandmother, my great grandmother, like pushed that within me. So I wasn't afraid of like being rejected and hearing like no. But that's exactly where it started, within that classroom with that one student, and just being able to grow it from there. A lot of my parents who were at my former school, they had called me and were like, listen, my child, she's not doing, or he's not doing as well as they used to. Are you able to work with them? And then I remember being back in Delaware too, having a young lady that I worked with at least 2 hours over the weekend, supporting her. And then the word just started getting out. And before I knew it, I had 5 kids. Wow. And I was like, I'm only one person. So as much as I wanted to do it all myself, I had to start putting measures in place. And that's how, we began to see what other things were needed to make So You Need a Tutor grow, and not just a business that I was doing on the side, but actually making it a viable business that can grow and expand and do more for the community.
I love that. And I really do love how you made like your main business, your side business, like your side hustle. Like, you don't always have to, people think that they have to have these different type of businesses, but your business aligns with what you go to school for, with what you do for your 9 to 5, and now you do it after hours too. So that's what's up. And then you didn't put I'm sorry, but you didn't just put yourself on, you put other people on as well, and helping them to grow. So it's not just about you, it's about everybody that you serve.
Yeah, and I think my tutors, they'll tell you that if they were like right here. They'll be here a little bit later when we're like putting together everything for our community event, to support the needs of the children, giving them academic resources and giving them food over the weekend. But they'll tell you, one of the questions that I ask in their interview is, what is it that you want to accomplish? Like, what are your goals? Because a lot of people join different companies, they go into their visions, they start to act out that company's vision, but we all have something that we want to do that's within us. And I try my best to support them with that. So for example, we had an event, it was called A Book in a Bowl. And it was actually the name that one of my tutors had given us. She actually is phenomenal. Her name is Tia Joseph. She's at Bancroft Elementary School, or Bancroft School. And she just made sure that her students had an opportunity to work with their parents in the morning. And she put in breakfast. So it was like a book they were reading. She was teaching the parents how to read with their kids. And then she also put the bowl. So it was an opportunity for parents, because sometimes at night they're like, oh, I don't have time, I'm tired. So she opened up her classroom to do that. So I said, you know what, can we use that idea that you had? And she gave me permission. And through that avenue, we brought in other resources, other companies. But I had some tutors who had some unique skills, some with special education, some who were phenomenal in reading, like at Stanton Middle School. And I was like, hey, I need you to teach other people what you're doing in your class. Because sometimes educators, they'll have like a phenomenal day. Like it's their stage, it's their moment. They'll keep their door open. They want people to know, they want people to see, you know, and their audience is their students. But it feels good to know that what you're doing with your kids can also be transformed or translated to other people. So I gave them that platform to be able to do that. And one who I know specifically, her name is Alma. She's a little shy, but that started to break up that shyness. It started to make that uncomfortable more comfortable for her. So, you know, when I call on her to do different things, she's not like, oh, I don't want to. She's like, yeah, I got it. You know what I mean? So whatever I can do to support them, I'm all for it.
I love it. I love it. So I have a lot of people who are in my tribe that are like really interested in starting their own business. So I would love for you to share some of the steps and the processes that you took when you decided to start So You Need a Tutor, like from beginning to where you are now.
Okay. So the biggest thing that I would say, because there's many steps to business. Some people think, oh, I need to get a logo. I need to get a website. I need to get Facebook. Oh, I need to get a business card. No, you don't. What you need to do is you need to actually write, and I'm sorry to say it like that, but you need to actually write a business plan. If it wasn't for the support of one of my mentors and the guidance of her, I would have never known like what my niches were, what my strengths were, what my weaknesses were, what my opportunities, my advantages as a business. And to be honest, the amount of time that I spent saved me thousands of dollars. There's so much that people just start dumping into their business. And it's like, it's good to invest in yourself, but know where you're going. So like at the end of the course that I had taken with my mentor, who's also my sorority sister, she actually, and I'm a Delta, y'all, so. But she made sure that I knew about the financials. She made sure that I knew about the research, like what other companies were out there. What were they doing that I can do to make myself different? Like, how can I make myself different? So I wasn't duplicating what was already out there. Then also looking at, you know, just the packaging of it. What am I going to say? Like, and then that actual document that I created, which is several pages long, but I can now take that to a bank if I wanted to and share with them, this is what I know. I'm a very valuable business. I've done all the work up front, you know, so that way I can actually get their backing if I need it to get a physical building, you know. So I would say starting with the business plan and actually writing it full out, using the courses that they're available within your city to see like if your city has like an economics department that's looking, or economics development department, seeing what they're offering. I know Newcastle County has some things happening. I know Wilmington has some things happening, and these are of course in Delaware. But just utilizing those pieces. And then I would say you can go ahead and start, you know, branding yourself. You can start grabbing your name, making sure that you're paying for that. What licenses do you need? This is all a part of it as well. Insurance. You have to get insurance. There are things that you don't probably want to pay for, but you have to make sure that you're paying for them, because that's how people, you know, take you seriously. A website, an email address. I know that some institutions, they wouldn't deal with me if I didn't even have not just a Gmail. They wanted an actual actual email from my company. Right. So the info at soyouneedatutor.com, you know. So there were different pieces that I had to add, but the business plan is the great start.
I love it. So for those people out there, you might think that you don't need a business plan. And I know you might hear that a business plan is not necessary, but for Danya, it has definitely been the foundation of her business. What about challenges? Because I know like a lot of people, they want to start a business, but they don't understand that starting a business is all about having challenges and being a problem solver. So along this journey, what challenges, you know, did you go through, and what challenges did you grow through to become the successful businesswoman that you are today?
I would say every day there's a challenge. Every day there's a challenge. Some of the challenges that I have been through, I would say the first one was not having enough staff. I was the only person. And then vetting people, knowing who to not necessarily give my business to, but who to bring on. Because I think one thing people really fear is like competition. But what I learned was nobody can do what I do. Like, you can tutor. That's great. but you can't do it how I do it. You don't, instruct kids how I do with growth mindset and, how we actually take our schedules and we make sure that the tutors are, impacting our students with academics and other pieces. But bringing on people was a challenge for me in the beginning. But once I overcame that hurdle, I was good from there. I would also say another challenge was understanding how to utilize the money that I was getting. I did not know anything about, and with me being young and then me being one of the first business owners on my mom's side of the family, there weren't things that were taught to me. It was like going to college for the first time, like trying to figure it all out, right? So with being a business owner, I was trying to figure out, okay, I got this money that came in for this month. What do I do with it? Do I pay my expenses? Do I go start buying materials? Some people want to make an office. And if it wasn't for my cash flow quadrant and making that detailed outline of what I needed to pay for and knowing what my goals were and how it attached to it, I would have probably blown all the money that I was getting and not been able to sustain my business. Another challenge that I had was more so just knowing how would I say it? Separate my business from other businesses and sharing that with other people. Because some people might say, oh, I'm a tutoring company or I'm a tutoring organization. And it's I want to say no, we do A, B, and C. But just getting down what it was that we were and how we did what we did. And just knowing what's for So You Need a Tutor. Everything is not needed for So You Need a Tutor. I was getting offers for offices. I was getting offers for people to come on. I was getting offers for equipment, things that just weren't necessary. But if I hadn't started with my business plan, I wouldn't have known this is not where we're going. This is not what we need. This is my mission. This is my vision. These are my strategic goals all the way up into 2022. This is where we're heading. These are the opportunities that we want to come out with. These are the measures that we're going by. My team sat in a meeting in my home not too long ago before everything started with the COVID-19 crisis, but they were made aware of where we were going as opposed to here's a handbook. No, we had to go through it and have them to understand that piece. And I also, incorporated their feedback in it as well. How could I make it a little bit better? But those were just some of the challenges that I had experienced during my time of growing this business.
Okay, and I would love to know, how did you overcome those challenges of choosing the right staff and narrowing down your niche and figuring out what works for So You Need a Tutor?
With overcoming the staff, I had to just be open. I had to be open and be okay with knowing that I will have people that come on that probably just want to learn from me and they want to go ahead and do their own thing. But also having my paperwork in order to know that there are some, you can't talk about this, you can't talk about that, you can't go after my client, you can't, so just have my paperwork in order made me feel more comfortable in opening up to having people to come on. And then also to knowing who I'm bringing on, just asking certain questions, listening to what people are saying, what they're not saying, helped me to become more open to that. But it takes time. It definitely does take time to do so. And just being okay with losing people too. Everybody's who is with me in the beginning, I would love for them to be there with me, towards the end. But I know that I have to go through people to get to where I need to be, and especially where So You Need a Tutor needs to be. And you said the last one was with my financials. How did I?
No, narrowing down your niche.
My niche. Sorry. Okay. It came about, like I said, with the business plan, knowing exactly what I'm offering. Okay. How am I setting myself apart? Even when I talk about my tutors, and you can see this even when I was on channel 28 or when I was on channel 22 for the city of Wilmington, I was talking about how I have passionate, patient, and professional tutors, just knowing what I wanted to say. And it came about because of me writing my vision, writing my my mission. And what do they say? Like people without a vision, they perish,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I had to make sure I understood that. And I was communicating that when I talked to my tutors, when I talked to my parents, when I talked to my students, when I talked to anybody from the state of Delaware, so that it was ingrained and embedded in what we do. So it started to come through our actions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So just being aware of that allowed it to be our niche. So
I love it. One of the things that I like to tell my clients and the people that I work with is that you have to seek help for your success. And I know in the beginning of this journey, you said you had your line sister, and she was somebody that was helpful to you on this journey. But what other type of help did you seek, if any, when you were on this journey to success and being a successful entrepreneur?
So I do want to give a shout out to my 18. Her name is Danielle Johnson. She made the design for these shirts, my logos, everything. I just, used her for that. But just seeking people who I saw great things in. I would just, ask them if they had a viable business. I would ask some questions. Even people who have made mistakes, maybe they switched their businesses. One thing that Jim Rohn has said in one of his, he's like a philanthropist. He was a philanthropist. He was a motivational speaker. You can hear a lot of his talks on YouTube and things of that nature. But I remember him specifically saying that he would invite somebody who messed up in their business. He said, take them out to lunch, pick up the tab, ask them how they messed up, because I can tell you how I, was successful, but the greater lessons will come and what I messed up on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would often ask them questions. I was very inquisitive, knowing like what to do, what not to do, how did they do it, where did they do it, who did they do it with, how do they know how to do certain things, what books are they reading. That's another thing that I learned as well. But just getting some mentors, people who I found not just valuable, but certain things within them that I liked. I know we can admire like celebrities and things of that nature, but I was like, okay, let me look at this person. What is it about them that I like? I like how they communicate with people and how people are drawn to them. Okay, let me ask them, and asking permission. Hey, would you mind being my mentor? And building that relationship with them. And just keeping in contact. So that way, if I, have to email, they can answer me really quickly. Or if I have to, call them, they'll pick up my phone call to let me know. But there were several people who are in different industries, and some of them are in education, that I do speak with pretty frequently about business, about tutoring, about just anything, even with employees. So I'm always, just asking questions. How would you do this? And just going from there. So
I love it. So asking questions is important. And just seem like just having a good team, getting mentors and having a good team is just so important for your success and asking questions. So I love that. So you've been with you founded So You Need a Tutor in 2017. What's next for So You Need a Tutor? Where do you see this business going?
I see it in other states. I see it being a company that we can franchise. I see it, but before that, I see it being a pillar within the community in Wilmington, within all of Newcastle County, and going all the way down with the other counties, Kent County, Sussex County, all of Delaware. I know I said in the beginning I went to school in Atlanta, but I wanted to come back to support Delaware. And with me being able to do that, now I'm like, okay, now when I get it to a good spot, when I have a So You Need a Tutor in Sussex, when I have a So You Need a Tutor in Kent, because Delaware only has 3 counties. Right. So when I have them there, and then now I feel like I can go ahead and start branching off into Georgia and making it a viable business there to support those students, because I've taught there as well. And I know that there's a great need there, but again, I'll have to do my research about where to actually be. But I see us being able to build something so phenomenal. I actually want to make a part of So You Need a Tutor to where students don't have to pay for tutoring, to where we can get the funding to be able to support that. Like how Khan Academy, anybody can get on there and they can learn. Like I want to have students who may not be able to afford us access to someone like myself, who can spend time teaching them the different skills and strategies that they may not have grasped fully in school or even over the summer, because that summer gap, or that summer dip as they call it, is real.
Yes,
So we
ma'am.
want to make sure that we support in all of those ways. I also see So You Need a Tutor supporting the state a lot more in different initiatives that they have. So I'll say, for example, we just recently worked with the Department of Social Services, where they had a group of young men from 14 to 17. It was called the YES program, and we supported them in their academics. We were one component of this entire day or afternoon of learning. They would have different people come in, but we were the academic piece. And we really started to see, okay, there are some deficits here, but we have some areas of growth where we can actually support these young men. Came in, built relationships, gathered data, and we were just able to rock from there. So I know that we can make a greater impact in what other individuals are doing within the state, and then also further taking it out of state as well.
I love it. So growing in collaboration, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need, oh, that's beautiful. And I can't
Mm-hmm.
wait to see it just manifest, because I know it's going to happen. So that's good. That's beautiful to see. And to even think about. So what advice would you give someone starting this entrepreneurial journey? And they want to start a business, what would you say to them?
I would ask them to start with why. Like, why do you want to do it? I think about the book that I've read. It's by Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek, I believe is how you spell his name. But he has a book that says, start with why. Once you have that why, you can know your how, you can know your what, you can just build from there. But I don't think people sometimes really know why they're doing it, because it will get hard. There will be months where you probably won't be making much at all. You'll probably get tired. You can get rejected. And it seems like you're doing the same thing over, and it's mundane, it's redundant. But if you know why you're starting your business, it won't go anywhere. You'll stick with it. There are tons of success stories where people were rejected. Who was it? I'm thinking about, like, even, I just lost that person. But someone, what is it? What's the movie with the guy who started McDonald's where he got denied over the Croc story?
Oh, okay. The McDonald's story?
Yeah. But Ray Kroc, I think, was his name.
Yes.
He got denied over and over and over again for different things that he wanted to do, but he never gave up. You know what I mean? So you got to have that stick-to-itiveness. You got to have that grit. You got to have that mindset and being able to get it done. And I'm sure, like, we may say, like, for example, I want to lose 30 pounds, but when the feeling of what you want to do when you said it is no longer there, you have to, like, remember that. So one thing one of my mentors actually taught me was to journal. Like, when I'm excited about that moment, write it down. So when I get discouraged, go back and read what you said when you felt good about it, and then keep going after it. Because I get discouraged all the time about different things. Like, for example, with the COVID-19 crisis, I didn't want to put anyone that I work with in harm's way. So I was like, we're not going out there. We're not giving out anything. We're not doing none of that. We got to stay in. We got to do X, Y, and Z. But then I had to look back at my core values. We said that we're committed to the community. So what does that look like? We said that we foster positive relationships. That's one of our other core values. So what does that look like? We talk about giving quality instruction to all, another core value. Right. So it started with that business plan. Then, like I said, being able to write down all those things to make sure that when what I said no longer feels comfortable, it's still there and I can go back to it, and just executing on those different pieces. Yeah. So I would say that those are some things right there.
I love that. And I see, because I follow you on social media, and I see, like, you're always busy, you always doing something, you always working and growing, so you need a tutor. So how important is self-care to you, and what do you do to take care of yourself?
Self-care is extremely important. I know it's been like a word that people have said like over and over again, and it's starting to become like cliche, like self-care, but I really think it's important so that I don't run out of like energy. I don't run out of who Danya is. I could become very, what they call it, hangry if I'm not taking care of myself. But some of the things that I do, like I said with my bike, I'll get on my bike and just ride, have no destination in mind, got to make sure my phone is charged, my AirPods are charged, and I just go. And I'll also even get in my car. I'll blast the music. That's why I need tents too, so nobody will know I'm in there. But I'll blast the music in there because I want to be like, look at that tutor. Is that the tutor? Is that the owner saying this? You know, because I listen to my favorite kinds of music with the good beats and everything like that. So just making sure I do that and just zone out, like no thinking.
Right.
Like I said, I'm a doctoral student. I think all the time. Sometimes I can get drained from working all day, then going to class, and then running my business.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot. So I do my best to not think. I purchase candles that have good scents. I put those around my house. I had to build that into my budget because it became kind of costly. So, but I get the good ones. Limoncello was one of my favorite from the White Bar.
Okay.
So I had that going on. And I make sure that I eat. One of my mentors, he called me Beyonce one time. And I know somebody might be like, you don't like Beyonce? No, what he said was that Beyonce worked so hard. She worked for several days to where she did not even eat. And sometimes I'm so focused. And I remember him being around me. He was like, you didn't even eat. Like, you got to make sure that you eat. Yeah. So just making sure I take care of myself in that way. The biking, the eating, the driving without thinking, the smell goods. And even just taking a bath. Like, Lush gets a lot of my
I love Lush.
Throw a bath bomb in, you just jump in, put on The Office. I love to laugh. Like, The Office is Michael. Have you ever seen The Office?
Yes,
Michael is hilarious. Like, I laugh at the same episode, the same jokes all the time, but it doesn't matter because I take that time just for me and do like what you said, self-care. So
that's right. That's important. Oh, I love that. I love that because taking care of yourself is so important. And then, like you said, us being entrepreneurs, I'm the same way. I'll be going and realize I haven't even ate. And we have to take care of ourselves because we are the priority. And if we are not taking care of ourselves, then the business is not going to manifest. It's not going to continue. So I love that. I love that. Yeah. I love that you make self-care a priority for yourself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to add something to that. My mentor, he had always told me, because he was always giving and giving and giving to where he had grown like a large team. And when they would call and ask questions or need this or need that, I would ask him, I was like, how do you like stay full? Like, how do you literally stay full? And it's because one of the things too was like, he made his car a classroom. He listens to motivational things. He gets his, ratchet and he gets his righteous, but he makes sure that he blends, or puts it into practice so that way he's continuing to fill himself up with those things. He's always reading because, like you just said, like if you're giving to others and you're emptying yourself, your bucket, your container, it's not full. So you got to pour back into you so that you can continue to give to others. So reading is another one too.
That's right. I love it. The interview is almost over, but I wanted to end with this sentence. I wanted you to finish this sentence for me. So the sentence is, growth is, and then you finish.
Growth is, I came up with like two things. I only can say, I would say growth is valuable and it's also necessary. Like right behind me, you can't like really see it, but I have my core values, my personal core values. And the first one is growth. Wow. Yeah. The next one is like communication and well-being. So like a lot of things that you brought up, I'm already like, that's what matters to me most. But growth is definitely necessary. Some people, may shy away from challenges, and like I look at them as they're opportunities. They're opportunities for us to be able to do things differently, for us to see it from different perspectives. And growth may be uncomfortable, but it's in those moments that we become our best selves, that those lessons or those skills or those thoughts and the habits that we need come out of that. So I'm all for growth. Sometimes I'll be kicking and screaming, but I know I have to go through it. It's like one of those roller coasters. I don't like roller coasters. Do you like roller coasters?
Sometimes.
Okay. I'll get on it. And then my dad will be like, he'll be with me and he'll be looking at me like, why are you on here? You know you're about to cry. You know you're about to be yelling, all kind of stuff. But it's necessary for me to, overcome it. And once I do that, I'm like, let's go again. And I'm like, well, you just had all this hoopla. So, but I think it's necessary, and I think it's very, very valuable what you can take from it once you go through it. So.
I love it, Danya. Thank you.
Awesome. No problem. Thank you
for chatting with us. And please tell my people how to get in touch with you and what you have coming up, because you're always doing something. So.
Okay. So again, my name is Danya Tiara Woods. I'm the owner operator of So You Need a Tutor. And this Friday and Saturday, during the COVID-19 crisis, we are supporting the needs of the community. We know school districts are providing resources, but we are able to provide resources over the weekend. So Friday and Saturday, we're going to be at Stubbs Elementary School, and then we're going to be in the Claymont area. These are both in Delaware, to where we're going to be giving out meals and academic resources and the tools to get the resources done. So there's highlighters, there's pencils, there's erasers. We've had several sponsors who are helping us currently. We have Walt's Chicken Express. We had Livingston Resto Project. We've had Essie's Kitchen. We had La Bella Blue. We've had Zion, the Way of the Cross Church. We've had the Community Center in Claymont. So many people have partnered with us. Even members of the Christina School District have partnered with us, Red Clay School District. So we're just excited to be able to give back to those individuals. And we've been doing it consistently on Fridays and Saturdays. If you go to our social medias, you'll see our flyers. It's at So You Need a Tutor. Everything spelled out, So You Need a Tutor. And then our website is www.soyouneedatutor.com, to where you can see how we work with kids. If you're interested in getting tutored, you can fill out you can fill out a request form, and we'll contact you within 24 to 48 hours to get the ball rolling and to help your child, especially during this time where we're all needing much help. So that's how they can get in contact with us. So I appreciate you for having me on and for just allowing me to share what it is that we're doing and, just collaborating with us in this. So thank you.
Thank you. No problem. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you later.